And so what I wanted to come in here and talk about was when to know to how to know when to push back on a decision. When I'm supposed to say, you know what, let's hold off on this. Let's think about patience over the process. Let's think about taking a step back here instead of trying to force it and trying to make whatever work that we're trying to make work. When do we know when to actually push back on a decision that we don't know very much about? So first is, and I hate to put it this way, but it's true, naked self-interest. Um, a lot of times people will be making a decision with someone else and don't really understand their motives or why this other person is so interested in making a decision quickly. Um, Naked self interest can be a very good reason why you say, hold on, let's take a step back here. If we're going to make a decision as a group, let's make a decision as a group. But there's got to be a reason why you want to push this so far forward. And if you're not willing to explain the reason why we're in a rush, then your motives probably there is pressure to conform to whatever society is doing, to whatever your environment is doing. Well, everyone else is doing this, so we need to get involved. Everyone else is making this choice, so we need to do that. We need to make sure that we're conforming to everyone else around us. That is probably a bad thing because it's the same concept as why I always tell people that be weary of shortcuts. Because what happens when you see, like, let's say you're driving across country and everybody's like, oh, well, that's the shortcut. That's the shortcut. Eventually, everybody finds out about the shortcut. And then it's a log jam trying to go the shortcut. It's no longer a shortcut. So, knowing the process thoroughly and fully without conforming to what everybody else thinks just because they think that is the best way to always go. So now another reason why you want to push back is if you have fear of failure. So let's say that everything is a go, everything looks wonderful. It all looks great, except for you have this fear of failure that's in your mind. You're thinking to yourself, everything is going right. Everything is supposed to go the way that it's supposed to, but I'm afraid that I'm going to fall on my face. This is when you also need to push back. And why am I saying you need to push back? You need to confront that fear before you jump out there. Because if you do fail for whatever reason, if something doesn't go right, the one thing that's going to happen is you're going to self condemn. You're going to tell yourself, you're going to self deprecate. You're going to tell yourself that it is your fault that it didn't work out. You're going to say that this is your burden. It's all on you. There's nothing wrong with being accountable, but this is where we get past accountability. So deal with that fear of failure first. Address that first. Failure is a possibility. Let's recognize the risk and reward. And if the risk becomes realized, we accept that and we figure out why. I'm willing to dig into why the risk became realized and not just that it became realized. So short-term thinking is one of the biggest reasons why you should always push back on a decision. If people are talking about doing something that's trendy, and this is kind of that self-interest thing, you're talking about doing something that's trendy and this is what everybody is doing right now, and everybody is wearing short shorts, so wear short shorts, or everybody is buying this type of clothing, so let's sell this type of clothing, or everybody is doing this. Short-term thinking does not produce long-term results. This is why you push back, because there has been traditional things that have worked for generations, but people are always concerned about the next trendy thing, the next thing that's going to make a big splash. It's okay to be a little. There's the very last point that I want to make about pushing back on a decision. If you notice, a decision does not have any empathy whatsoever involved. So anybody that's ever walked this journey or anybody that's ever made a decision along the similar type of decision you're trying to make, and your decision has no empathy in it. It's just like, yeah, these are the numbers. Let's do this because this is what it says. Numbers do not reflect human behavior. It doesn't reflect all human emotions. So sometimes the numbers will say it's like this. And to be honest, they don't have any empathy. They're just numbers. So this is another time where you push back. Sometimes the numbers sound horrible. Sometimes it's like, you know what? These numbers are not very good. However, at the end of the day, we shouldn't do it because the numbers say that it's bad. We shouldn't do it because this works opposite of the numbers. We should do the right thing. And the right thing is always having some level of empathy, some level of human aspect to every decision that you make. You should be always thinking about other people in some level, some way, shape, form, or fashion. So, anyways, that's when you know that you should push back on decisions. If somebody is making a decision where it just basically seems like they have no empathy, the only thing they're thinking about is their own self interest, they're trying to conform you to whatever society wants you to do. Or if you have a fear of failure within yourself, deal with that first. Do not get into short term thinking. You want to get into long term gains. As they talk about in financial trading, taking profits early is better than writing it off on your taxes later.